Hello. Lesson 3. Let's get rid of this cube, and then let's put in a sphere. Oh, actually, let's go to the middle, and let's put our cursor in the middle. And Shift A, let's put in a sphere. But I put it in. You notice when you go to the middle, it's not exact. If you want, all right, let's Control Z. Let's go back. Okay, if I can go and kind of guesstimate where the center is, but you don't necessarily learn this shortcut. Do Shift C. If I do Shift C, it takes me to the exact middle, and you can do that within your objects too. You should be able to go when you get different objects and you have multiple elements to your meshes. Shift C will take you to the center. Now I'm going to go Shift A. I'm going to add a sphere, and I'm going to resize this just a little bit, and I'm going to bring it up. Okay, bring it up along the Z. And oh yeah, I want to change this to Blender Game. Remember, we want the game engine. And then now I'll click P for play. Nothing happens. But let's add some physics to it. So I simply come over to my Properties panel. I think that's what this is called. Yeah, Properties panel right here. And I'm going to go to Physics. Make sure that your sphere is selected. Right now it's on static. I'm going to choose, let's choose dynamic. And I'm going to say no sleeping. And so now what this does is it gives it sort of the physical properties that it would have here on Earth. And so here on Earth we have gravity. So let's see what happens now if the sphere has some weight to it and it has some mass. Let's see what happens when I hit P, because now it has dynamic physics. So it's going to fall, and it's going to fall forever and ever and ever and ever and ever until something stops it. If I click, and I can choose different ones here. Let's choose static, and I hit P. It's going to go back to stay. It's going to stay right there. Let's choose rigid body. Rigid body and dynamic they're similar, but you'll notice later in the course why you would choose those different settings. I'm going to hit P. It falls again. Okay? Go ahead and do that to the sphere that you have. And after that, let's add another element. Let's add a plane here. Let's go Shift A, and we want to add a plane. Actually, and then, yeah, let's do that the right way. I'm going to get rid of that. Let's go to the middle, Shift C, and Shift A for add a mesh, and I'm going to add a plane, and I'm going to resize that plane. I just hit S, that's all I hit, and I'm going to resize it. Now I'm going to bring it up. You can bring it up above the grid. This grid is not, that has nothing to do with any of the elements. That's just there for your measurement and for your spacing and alignment. I'm going to bring it up above the grid just a little bit. I don't want to see the grid right now. And you can obviously in your properties get rid of your grid. And now I'm going to click play. And there we go. My ball stops on top of my plane. Why? My plane has static, so it's just there. My ball or my sphere, let's give it dynamic. I'm going to raise it up a little bit higher, and I hit P, and that's on the plane. All right? So now we're getting started with our game. What would happen if I grab this plane and I did an R, let's go RY. So along the Y axis, it's tilted. What's going to happen? Obviously, hit P, hits that plane. Oh, and it's going to slide down. Now, why doesn't it roll? It only slides. We want that to act more like a ball, because if a ball falls, it's not necessarily just going to slide down. If that's what you want, that's fine. Let's change that to rigid body, and let's see what happens. And I'm going to change the angle. I'm going to turn around and show you. Hit P, Now with rigid body, that circle or that sphere falls down there. I'm going to move this down just a little bit so it's at the top. Zoom out. I'm going to hold shift and middle mouse button so I can get it more toward the middle. There we go. And hit P. I should be at rigid body. All right. Now, you have the beginnings of your game. You can do a lot of things here. So hopefully you put in a plane. Now let's go put in another plane. So I'm going to go Shift A, and I'm going to put in another one, and I'm going to move it up here, and I'm going to resize it. Okay, so now what should happen? It should come down, hit this plane, and then roll on to the second one, and then kind of flatten out. Yep, but it's going to keep going forever, and you should see it fall down, and it's going to just fall forever, 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 until I hit escape, or until I add a property, which we'll do later. Okay, so what I want you to do for this one is I just want you to do some more experimenting with adding meshes and rigid body, the physics. You can do rigid body, you can do dynamic. Let's change that back to dynamic. See what happens. It slides down, slides across. Oh, it comes to a stop. Okay. I can also change the mass, change the weight of this. Right now it has a 1. That's just a one element or 1 unit of measurement. I'm going to put it at 10. See what that does. So now this is heavier. Let me hit P. Okay, so it didn't go as far because it's got gravity pulling it down harder into this plane right here. Let's make this 100. Let's see what happens. So now it should be really heavy. Okay. So you can change, you mess with these settings and play with them, but you don't have to use planes specifically. I want you to put in 6 different meshes. So 6. So when this ball drops, whether it's soft body or rigid body or dynamic, it needs to, there's what soft body looks like. Okay, sort of like one of those yoga balls that's not blown up all the way. Okay, and this has to react with 6 different elements. So here would be 1, here would be 2, and I want to see it react. I'll show you if you want to hit pause or watch this. I'm gonna pause the video and I'm gonna go create. Just give you an example of some of the things you can do. So here's an example. I just did a couple. So I have my sphere. It's going to fall down, hit this plane. It's going to go through this cylinder or this torrid that I spaced out. Come down, hit this plane, maybe hit the monkey. Let's watch. Hit P. Just watching it react with different elements, but also doing some experimenting with the different meshes. Bumps into the monkey, but because of the angle, it still rolls, and it falls off. So just do 6. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I had 5 here. You do at least 6. Of course, I would love it if you did more than 6. And we're not doing any motion right now. We're just doing the physics, the raw physics of what this ball would do, and how you can rotate and resize different elements. Okay, so that's your assignment for assignment 3, is to give me a sphere or a ball and then have it drop and have it touch at least 6 elements. You can do more, but you need to have at least 3. And then remember, you're going to save it. You're going to save it as lesson 3, all small letters or all lowercase, and then your name in all capitals. All right, and you will submit it to me in your H drive through the T drive, or I will let you know how I want you to submit that stuff later, but make sure of the naming conventions. Okay, lesson 3. Actually, hold on, a couple things. when you put a plane in, like if I were to come here and play it, like if I play it from right here, okay, I can see my plane. It's shadowed. Why is it shadowed? Well, we know because our lamp is down here. You can move your lamp around. You can do that too, or I can add a new lamp. Let's add one. Let's just put one up here. So maybe I can have a couple. So now I have a little light shining from the top. Yeah, that helps. Now I can see everything. Okay, you can add a couple lamps if you want to. But I will tell you this, like if I grab this and I'm going to rotate along let's rotate this the other way, and I hit play. You can't see it. Why can't you see it? Planes are invisible from the bottom side. Remember that. So if I control Z back to what I had at the beginning, and if I play right here, okay, I can see that top from there. But if I come below it like this and I hit play, I can't see that plane now. If it's from the bottom, it's invisible. Okay, so remember that. If you happen to flip over your plane, if you rotate your plane for some reason, and you know it's there but you can't see it, it's just a thing in Blender. They're invisible from the bottom. So remember that about planes, and then also you can put some lamps in so everything on your screen is visible. Okay? Good luck. Go ahead.